Let's face it, religion is a big deal. It's not just a passing trend or a minor aspect of human culture. It's a fundamental part of the human experience, deeply woven into the fabric of societies across the globe. For many people, it's the bedrock of their lives. It shapes their daily routines, their moral frameworks, and their worldviews. From the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, religion can be a guiding force. It provides meaning, community, and a sense of belonging. In a world that can often feel chaotic and unpredictable, religion offers a sense of order and purpose. It brings people together, creating bonds that can last a lifetime. It offers comfort in times of sorrow and hope for the future. When faced with life's inevitable hardships, many turn to their faith for solace and strength. It provides a framework for understanding suffering and a promise of better things to come. Throughout history, religion has been a powerful force, shaping societies and influencing human behavior. From the grand cathedrals of Europe to the ancient temples of Asia, religious structures stand as testaments to the enduring power of faith. It's this deep-seated influence that makes it ripe for exploitation, particularly by those seeking power. The intertwining of religion and politics is not a new phenomenon. It has been a part of human history for centuries. Think about it, religion taps into our deepest fears and desires. It addresses the existential questions that have puzzled humanity for millennia. Where do we come from? Why are we here? What happens after we die? It provides answers to life's big questions about our existence and purpose. These answers can be deeply comforting, offering a sense of certainty in an uncertain world. They can also be a source of inspiration, driving people to achieve great things in the name of their faith. It connects us to something larger than ourselves, whether it's a higher power, a universal truth, or a shared community. Religion offers a sense of connection that transcends the individual. This potent mix of emotions and beliefs creates fertile ground for manipulation. When people are deeply invested in their faith, they can be more easily swayed by those who claim to share their beliefs or who promise to uphold their values. Politicians and those in power have long understood this, recognizing the potential of religion as a tool to control and influence the masses. By aligning themselves with religious leaders or adopting religious rhetoric, they can gain the trust and support of the faithful. It's a tale as old as time. From the pharaohs of ancient Egypt to the kings of medieval Europe, rulers have used religion to legitimize their authority and justify their actions. Throughout history, rulers and leaders have recognized the power of faith. They have built grand temples and churches, commissioned religious art, and patronized religious institutions to demonstrate their piety and secure their rule. They've used it to legitimize their rule, justify their actions, and solidify their grip on power. By presenting themselves as divinely appointed or morally righteous, they can quell dissent and rally support. And let's be clear, this isn't just ancient history. The manipulation of religion for political gain is very much alive today. In many parts of the world, religious leaders wield significant political influence, and politicians often use religious language to appeal to voters. This manipulation continues today, often in subtle and insidious ways. It's not always about grand declarations or overt alliances. Sometimes it's about the quiet nods to religious values, the carefully chosen words that resonate with the faithful. We see it in the carefully crafted speeches, the staged photo ops, and the calculated appeals to religious values. These tactics are designed to create a sense of shared identity and common purpose, to make people feel that their faith is being respected and upheld. The goal is simple: to tap into that deep well of faith and use it to advance their own agendas. By aligning themselves with religious beliefs and institutions, politicians can gain a powerful ally in their quest for power and influence. Let's rewind the clock a bit. Imagine a world where the lines between the divine and the mortal were blurred, where rulers claimed their power not just through might, but through divine right. Ancient Egypt, land of pharaohs and pyramids, offers a prime example of religion as a tool of control. The grandeur of the pyramids and the temples wasn't just for show, it was a testament to the divine authority of the rulers. The pharaohs weren't just political leaders, they were considered living gods. Their word was law, and their decrees were seen as the will of the gods themselves. Their authority was absolute, divinely ordained, and unquestionable. To defy the pharaoh was to defy the gods, a notion that kept the populace in check and ensured the stability of their reign. Religion wasn't just a part of life, It was the foundation upon which their entire society was built. Every aspect of daily life, from the mundane to the monumental, was steeped in religious significance.
My power is granted by the gods. This proclamation wasn't just a statement, it was a powerful tool to legitimize and consolidate power. To question me is to question the divine order. This was a common refrain among rulers who sought to intertwine their authority with the divine, making rebellion not just a political act, but a sacrilegious one.
Fast forward a few centuries and we find ourselves in medieval Europe. The landscape may have changed, but the strategy remained remarkably similar. The Catholic Church, a dominant force, held immense power. Its influence permeated every level of society, from the peasant to the king. Kings and queens sought the Church's blessing to legitimize their rule. Without the Church's endorsement, their claim to the throne was tenuous at best. They knew that, without it, their authority could be challenged. The Church's blessing was more than a religious formality, it was a political necessity.
Only through the Church can a ruler's authority be sanctified. This symbiotic relationship ensured that both the Church and the monarchy maintained their grip on power. Without our blessing, their rule is but a fleeting shadow. This statement underscores the precarious nature of power without religious backing.
The Church, in turn, wielded its influence to shape political decisions. It wasn't just a passive observer, it was an active participant in the governance of the realm and maintain its grip on power. The Church's involvement in politics ensured that its interests were always protected and advanced. These examples illustrate a recurring theme, the blurring of lines between religious and political authority. This fusion created a powerful mechanism for control. When those in power can claim divine right or the backing of a higher power, it becomes much easier to control the populace. Dissent becomes heresy, and opposition is not just political but spiritual. Questioning authority becomes a sin. This conflation of religious and political dissent served to stifle any form of rebellion or criticism. This fusion of religion and politics has been used to justify everything from conquest and oppression to discrimination and persecution. The moral authority of religion provided a convenient cover for acts of aggression and control. And while the players may have changed, the game remains remarkably similar. The tactics of intertwining religious and political power continue to be employed, demonstrating the enduring nature of this strategy. Now let's talk about modern politics. Picture this, a politician on the campaign trail, they're kissing babies, shaking hands and quoting scripture. Yes, even in our supposedly secular societies, religion maintains its grip on the political sphere. Politicians across the globe sprinkle their speeches with religious rhetoric. They court religious leaders for endorsements. They attend religious services for photo opportunities.
I'm one of you. I share your values.
This tactic is particularly effective in countries with deeply religious populations. By aligning themselves with religious beliefs and values, politicians tap into a pre-existing voter base. They create an us versus them mentality, suggesting that those who don't share their faith are somehow less worthy or patriotic. It's a cynical game, but an effective one. It allows politicians to sidestep complex policy discussions and appeal directly to voters' emotions. And when successful, it can be a powerful tool to secure votes and win elections. Section 4, Unholy Alliances, the Politics of Religion. Now let's be clear, it's not always a one-way street. Politicians exploit religion, but religious institutions often benefit from these alliances as well. It's a classic case of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Politicians curry favor with religious groups to secure votes and endorsements. In return, religious institutions gain access to power, influence, and often financial benefits.
This can manifest in various ways, from government funding for religious schools and organizations to favorable legislation that aligns with religious beliefs. These mutually beneficial relationships create a system where both parties benefit, often at the expense of the very people they claim to represent.
It's a cozy arrangement, but one that can have far-reaching consequences for society as a whole.
Section 5, the smokescreen of faith hiding corruption. In this section, we delve into the intricate ways in which corruption is masked by the very institutions that are supposed to uphold moral and ethical standards. Now let's talk about corruption. It's a pervasive issue that affects societies globally, undermining trust and eroding the foundations of democracy. It's a dirty word, but an unfortunate reality in many parts of the world. And guess what? The intertwining of religion and politics often serves as a perfect cover. Religion can be a fantastic smokescreen. It provides a veneer of righteousness that can obscure the most nefarious activities.
Think about it. When a politician invokes religious imagery or participates in religious ceremonies, it creates an aura of sanctity around them. When politicians wrap themselves in the cloak of religion, it becomes much harder to criticize them. They appear untouchable, shielded by the sanctity of faith. Who are we to question the righteous? The moral high ground they claim makes it difficult for the average person to see through the facade. Who are we to challenge the morally superior? This perceived moral superiority acts as a powerful deterrent against scrutiny.
This creates a dangerous dynamic. It stifles dissent and allows corruption to flourish unchecked. Crony capitalists, those who use their connections to the government for personal gain, can exploit this to their advantage. They leverage their influence to secure favorable deals and policies. They can make donations to religious causes, align themselves with influential religious figures, and essentially buy themselves a shield of piety. This shield makes it difficult for the public to see their true intentions.
This makes it much harder to hold them accountable for their actions. The intertwining of religion and politics creates a complex web that is difficult to untangle. After all, who would suspect a devout individual of wrongdoing? The very idea seems counterintuitive, which is why it is such an effective strategy.
It's a cynical tactic, but one that can be incredibly effective in deflecting scrutiny and maintaining the status quo. By cloaking themselves in the garb of religion, corrupt individuals can continue their activities with minimal interference, perpetuating a cycle of deceit and exploitation.